My name is Daniel Ritter. I grew up in Ohio, spent a couple years in DC, and then most recently was in Salt Lake City for grad school. When I started my undergrad degree, I was in a public policy program and spent a few years early in my career more on the public administration side. But I had an internship in my undergrad that was working with a nonprofit called Rails to Trails Conservancy, and they were focused on converting old railroad corridors into bike trails, and also advocating for active transportation infrastructure in other ways. And that really was what sparked that interest early on. It was something then that kind of grew on the back burner, and at a certain point I realized that I wanted to go back to school. I really wanted to become a planner, and I was really interested in transportation. Throughout my time at the U, I really had a lot of opportunities to engage with my classmates, with professors, with the planning community. I worked as a teaching assistant. I worked on a research project in one of the research labs at the U. I had an internship and was really heavily involved in a planning student organization, as well as doing all of the typical coursework that you have in grad school. And one of the things that I was most heavily involved in and most proud of was my professional capstone project that I spent the second year of my grad degree working on. I spent that year trying to assess bicycling comfort in Salt Lake, essentially. My interest was in how comfortable are people trying to get from point A to point B. And I was really seeking to measure what I refer to as access to opportunity by bicycle, which essentially is how easy or difficult is it, how comfortable do you feel trying to get from your house to everyday destinations, whether it's work, school, healthcare, grocery stores, things like that. There might be bike infrastructure there, but as we're learning now and as we are beginning to pivot in the profession, that infrastructure that exists might not be comfortable for all users. You know, how do you define comfort? I don't mind putting myself at a little bit more risk than other people do if it means that I can get there faster or more direct, but most people aren't like me. If you're a little kid biking to school, you're not going to be taking Foothill Drive. If you're a mom running errands with an electric cargo bike, or someone later in their life going to a senior center, for instance, you're probably not going to be taking the same routes or risks that I am. And everyone is going to have a different idea of what comfort is. And that was really, it was fun to see how people felt differently about different parts of the city in terms of their biking infrastructure, but also challenging to then kind of operationalize that and put it into an analysis that ultimately is pretty black and white. A lot of the experiences that I had that have really shaped the direction of my career now, where I want my career to go, have come from opening myself up to those possibilities, whether it was engaging in research with faculty members. That research, for instance, opened my eyes to the world of data analysis and working with ArcGIS or R or languages like that to really take in data and solve problems. That's something now that I do on a daily basis at my job that I really enjoy and really feel like I'm good at. We really got to do some neat things just because we showed we were interested, we asked. I think that was one of the things that I loved about the planning community here, is how eager they were to engage with us and to show us around, show us the ropes, share what they've learned. And the advice that I will give to students is just to be as engaged as possible, because ultimately what you put in is what you get out, and you really don't know when you first start school where things are going to take you.